Conference today for one reason, and that's to announce a decrease by State Farm Insurance on the automobile insurance rates. Back in June of 2018, I had received a lot of notification from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners in the industry that rates might go up 5 to 8%. That was a great concern to the department, and we began negotiations with a lot of the carriers. State Farm immediately responded and gave a 3% decrease in July, another 4.6% decrease in November, and we've just approved another 3.6% increase for a total decrease. All of these are decreases. I might have said increase by mistake, but they're all decreases. For a total decrease of 11.2% within the last 12 months. Now, some consumers already are getting the 7.6% decrease that was approved in July and November. And within the next couple of months, all of the consumers that buy the automobile insurance from State Farm will be getting upwards of 11.2% decrease in their rates. A lot of people ask us, what about all the other carriers in the state? And we tell them, well, the other carriers will follow suit. This is about competition. We have about 45 carriers that sell automobile insurance, private automobile insurance in the state, and that does not include the non-admitted carriers of surplus lines. And competition is a driving factor here that will drive rates down. State Farm has had a very good experience record over the last 3 years. We don't have all the 18 numbers in, but we do have 2015, 16, and 17 in, and their direct loss ratios have dropped over 5%. And what that means to the consumer is you're probably looking at a 10% decrease in your rates. If rates drop 5%, it's usually double on your rate decreases. That's just the way the math works and the actual science works. So this is good news for the consumers of the state of Mississippi. Competition and market share are the driving forces that keep rates down for all the consumers in this state. And we're pleased to announce that State Farm has listened to us and has looked at the ability to lower their rates simply because they're doing a better job of educating their consumers. And in face of the fact that texting is one of the worst things you can do, the new technology has proven to be very helpful. A lot of that was held in abeyance as to whether or not new technology would improve automobile rates. The new technology in State Farm's case is doing that, and we're talking about things like side sensors when somebody starts to pass you, or when you back up, you don't back into somebody at the Walmart parking lot or the Kroger's parking lot. It helps you a lot. So State Farm has done a very good job of consumer education, and what has happened is you see the results of it in an 11.2% rate decrease within the last 12 months. That's big, considering that Louisiana only got, my good friend Jim Donlin announced his commission decreases with State Farm of a little over 7% last week, and I was with him in New Orleans last week on a panel, and he said, when are you going to announce yours? And I said, I'm going to give you a week and then I'm going to announce mine because our decreases are bigger than yours. And he just laughed. It's competition also between commissioners, so that's a pretty big deal. It keeps us out of the top 5 high cost states in the United States. We moved from the top 5 down below the top 10, which is good news for all the consumers in this state. It takes a concentrated effort to do that. So we're pleased to have this press conference at this time. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to take them. Well, what kept us in the top 5 prior to 2016 were things like we're a rural state. We didn't have a lot of competition in the state. We've had some people that have left the state. We've had people that have come into the state to write private automobile insurance. But the main thing is we have better credit scores. We're educating the consumers to understand that if you've got older cars, you can have a higher deductible. It doesn't make sense to have full insurance on an older car that's 10 years old, that's only worth a few $1,000s, and you're paying insurance on it as if it were a brand new automobile. We've asked agents since 2008 to get the word out to the consumers that they write insurance policies for, to tell them what will lower their rates, and that includes things I've just talked about. Shop around, get discounts, look at your credit report, and try to get it squared away. If you quit smoking, be sure and tell them a lot of companies will rate you on smoking. You have higher deductibles. We have a requirement that you have liability of 25, 50, 25 in the state. That's medical coverage and liability. You may have a third car and only 2 drivers in a family. Talk to your agent about what you might get really, really low rates on that third car, and it's usually a pickup for most folks that they keep parked and they use it on the weekend. You can get your rates reduced as much as 50% if you just talk to your agents. And I mentioned lower coverage for older cars. That's extremely important to us. Now, you can, if you got a new driver, you can add or remove a new driver. If you get a divorce or marriage, that's a factor that affects your rates. And a lot of consumers didn't know that that was important. And if you're a young person and you have a good driving record and you are in high school and you took driver's ed, that'll reduce your rates also. Just a lot of little things and they all add up. So we've got a chart, and this is actually not original by us, but this is a chart, and I'll explain it for those that are listening on the radio. It says what drives up the cost of driving. And when you go down through this, you say local weather, theft and vandalism, professional cost, driving record, the age of the driver, the gender of the driver. Females get better rates than males do, I can tell you that. And which is really good. Occupation, where you work, and your education, the liability insurance that you carry, the homeowner insurance that you have may also reduce your rates, because a lot of consumers will buy the automobile insurance from the same people that get the homeowner's insurance for them, and it really does give you a bigger rate decrease. And in the case of State Farm, if you buy your automobile insurance and they have your homeowners, you'll get a deeper discount over the 11.2. And then the car color, which is if you drive a red car, better think about that a little bit. And the car choice and the annual mileage. So a lot of little factors, and these are, we tried to put this into a chart. AARP, which we work closely with on consumer education, helps us a lot to get the word out. Well, Friday afternoon, after we met with State Farm for the final time, we've been meeting with them a lot. I had a call late in the afternoon and one yesterday on President's Day when I was supposed to be off. I was still working, and said, we want to come in and talk to you next Tuesday about our automobile insurance rates, and we're probably going to be looking at a reduction of anywhere from 2 to 8%. And that's one of the top 5 carriers in the state. I'm sure that some others will follow suit. It's just a matter of time. When the word gets out with what we've done today, I think you'll see more people follow suit.